Back now on Forsyth County Connections, our special guest is Christa Smith. She's Director of Forsyth County Department of Social Services. She wears many hats and does many things, so we were glad she could spare a few minutes with us. And you sent me an email a few days ago and said you want to talk about Path NC. What is that all about?
Yeah, so it is. It stands for Partnership and Technology Hub of North Carolina, but it is a case management system for our child welfare social work staff, and it's the first time Forsyth County has ever been in a system that will network us with other counties, so that we can share our work and they can see ours, and that we can be more efficient.
How is this going to help you do things for children and families that maybe you hadn't been able to do before or not as well before? Or give me an idea.
Yeah, so Forsyth County has been what's called a paper-based county. So our social work staff write their notes out, handwrite their notes prior to this. They handwrite forms that they are required to fill out. And so this is the first time that they're going to be able to do everything in a computer system. It's also all mobile, so they can have it on their cell phone, on a tablet, out in the field with them. And so not only will they be able to do their work directly into the system, but they'll be able to research information in that system and have it readily at their hands and available to them when they need it.
Well, let me ask about foster care placements. Would this new system help with that?
It will. It'll help us be able to know where our children are without having to check a spreadsheet or come back into the office to do that. Right now, it is our intake and assessment, so kind of the front half of our process has gone in, and the state is going to be rolling other groups of counties in through the rest of 2025. Our foster care and adoptions is expected to go in early 2026, and then we will have our whole system in there.
Yeah, so that should really make things run better for us on the county level, right?
Absolutely. And then this allows us to, for the first time ever, be able to see our data in reports and oversee and have some accountability to make sure that cases are moving along and not stagnating, and that we're getting to safe decisions with our families on a quick basis and being as efficient as possible with it.
Well, this sounds fascinating. Now, how are you going to make sure all this gets launched successfully? I mean, maybe this is getting too far in the weeds, but overall, how are you making sure it's going to go smoothly?
Yeah, so we actually worked for several months with an internal team of people across our agency to do things like cleaning up some of our data, making sure we had turned our reports in, making sure that we had all of our staff trained, because it also had a policy change component to it. So we had to train our staff in new policy and train our staff on how to use the system. And so we did a lot of readiness activities. And then about 30 days before we launched, the state came and partnered with us on rounding out some of the readiness activities to make sure that we were going to launch as efficiently as possible and seamlessly as we could. On the week that we went in, so we went in on July the 2nd, which is about 2 weeks ago now, Forsyth County was the very first county to put a report into the system.
Okay.
It launched at 9 a.m. and we had a new report in the system at 9:01 a.m.
Wow.
And from there we have really been rolling. Now, like with any new technology, there were a few hiccups, but we saw most of those resolved in the first 24 hours. And so our system is really running well and our workers love it.
Before Tom runs out, I just want to ask you a personal question. What gratification do you get from the work you're doing in general, and maybe with this initiative specifically, but with children and families, and what do you get out of it?
Yeah. So I entered this field in child welfare almost 25 years ago, and so that's kind of my background and my passion area. And so I have seen workers that have struggled without having a system for 25 years. And so this in particular is really gratifying to me, because I've been able to advocate for Forsyth County to be in the first group to launch this system. And when I became director about 2 years ago, one of the biggest pieces of feedback I got from social workers was, we need a system. We need a case management system. So to finally realize that is so exciting.
That's great. How can people learn more about what's going on? Is there a website or something?
Yeah, we have a news release that's out on the forsythcounty.cc website. So our main website will have some information about Path NC.
Christa, thanks for all you're doing for so many people. Appreciate it.
Thank you.